Reading from Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, Book 2, Chapter 2, Text 20. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Parāṁ kāṣṭhāṁ gataṁ tat-tad rasa-jātīyatocitam athāpi rasa-kṛt-tādṛg bhaktānām astu gatiḥ. They have all attained the ultimate limit of happiness, each in his own kind of ecstatic reciprocation with the Lord. But what place is destined for the exceptional devotees of the performer of the rasa dance? Purport. Well, someone might ask if there is a hierarchy of greater and lesser devotees in Vaikuntha, then only some of them are fully happy. Is that proper? Aren't the devotees of the Supreme Lord, especially those who obtain Vaikuntha, greater than mere liberated souls? Don't they enjoy the highest happiness above that of liberation? The current verse clears this doubt. All the residents of Vaikuntha enjoy incomparable happiness. But some gradation of happiness still exists because each devotee relishes a mixture of ecstasies that make up his individual devotional mood or rasa. It is natural, therefore, according to a devotee's sthāyi bhāv, the predominating mood of his ecstatic love, he receive a particular degree and kind of happiness. Nonetheless, each devotee thinks that his happiness is perfect and complete because it exactly suits his personality. Having acknowledged this, Mother Uttara next expresses her doubt about the devotees of Krishna, whose spontaneous love for the Lord is greater than all other varieties of parāṁ. In Vaikuntha, is there a special place where those devotees can enjoy the supreme happiness they deserve? Within Uttara's question are the following implications. The Shuddha Bhaktas, in their worship of the Supreme Lord, enjoy greater ecstasy than the Jnana Bhaktas. But although the devotees in Vaikuntha find themselves in a hierarchy that would normally cause envy, quarrel, and other kinds of conflict, those devotees are free from jealousy and other faults, which are the root cause of pain and lamentation. Without this purity, they cannot reside in Vaikuntha. Being affectionately attached to one another in sublime parāṁ, they all feel ever-increasing happiness in their worship of the Lord. Wow. Okay, today we're going to go through a long purport, so be attentive. I usually don't do this because it's hard to follow. Already mentioned, the Shuddha Bhaktas, whose devotion to the Lord does not depend on the pleasure of Vaikuntha, are higher than the mere conditional Jnana Bhaktas. That being so, what about the status of devotees still more elevated? What about the Lord's best servants, the Prema Bhaktas, who are indifferent to all possible selfish concerns? What about the Lord's supreme friends, the Prema Parabhaktas, who receive his unconditional special flavor? And what about his closest loved ones, the Prematura Bhaktas, who are bound by the most intimate relationship with the Lord and who live only for his satisfaction? What special place can be found in Vaikuntha for those super excellent devotees? Anyway, I'm not going to read the whole purport. It's a little. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Taksur Unmalatam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, greetings from Govardhan. Is today Purnima?
Yes, my brother.
Yeah, I've never seen so many people on the Prikram path. I started going around every day after breakfast because it gets a little cool. So I walk half every day. I'm walking the Govinda Kund side every day. And I've never had it where there's actually traffic jams of people, where sometimes you can't even get through. So I've never seen it packed, even on the inner path. Usually when you go on the inner path, after Jatipur, there's not that many people, even if it's packed. But it was, it's great, these people have devotion. You really see some real devotees you can see as they're singing. And I'm just giving a little background here. And then I did something that I usually don't do, is take leisurely walks around. So I stop at the Jagannath Mandir. There's a nice Vaishnav, Mukunda. He gives me hot milk. And when I walk through Anior, this family calls me that I know. And it was kind of amazing because I get up so early, like 12:30, 1 o'clock. So by the time it's like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and I finish everything, the chanting and deity worship. So I eat my main meal practically then. So then I went out, and about an hour later, they called me in and they wanted to feed me full prasadam. But they told me interesting stuff because they know the people going around, because they come to their house to get the rotis. And they talked about this one Chaitanya Baba. And he goes around, he used to go around 3 times or 2 times. He goes around at least 2 times. And he even had cancer once. It's something, it was like, he's old. I see him sometimes holding on to someone. So now they say it takes him 8 hours to go around, and he goes around twice. He says he starts at 6 in the morning. No, he starts at 6 in the morning or something, maybe not 8 or whatever. And I'm just thinking, the person just spent his whole life just walking around Govardhan Hill chanting. So what must be, right? What to speak of just on the level, not even the level on bhakti, on the level of austerity, controlling your mind, because it must not always be pleasant. So it was interesting. And then I went to, there's the original Balaram temple. See, it's after Kartik right now. It's a special time, and it's after the Govardhan retreats, because I love it when it's just the residents and a few devotees. You get more of the interaction with the local people. By the time I come back in February, then everybody starts coming again, which I love also, because I'm going to go to Mayapur. But I go to this Balaram temple, and there was this young girl, I remember 20 years ago. She was only like 7 or 8 years old, and she used to be the pujari. and she would tell the stories. So I went, the temple was kind of locked, and I started walking towards Govindaka, and then she was walking the other way, and now she's 27. And she's beautiful in a very pure way. It's almost like a gopi walking, without me sounding too much of my Sahaja Bhav. But she's very pure. So I asked her if she's married, smiling like she's Purnami. She says, blissful and very high consciousness. And I asked her, are you married yet? She says, no. And I thought, that's unusual in India, a lady 27 not married. She said, but I'm getting married in 2 months by Sankarsana Kund, so you can come, she said. And she said, I didn't want to get married, but my parents said I should get married. I said, who are you marrying? She said, a pujari from Kusum Sarovar. So she said, there's no problem. She said, I'll chant and he'll chant. It was so sweet because she didn't want to get entangled in the material world, but she's also Krishna conscious, so if this is her duty, she's also blissful. But it's just nice to be by the local residents at this time and walk around. And then a special feature of my ashram is that there's this pure devotee Italian gourmet cook in Vrindavan. She just loves to cook. Everything is handmade, everything is organic, everything is gourmet. And she likes to come to the ashram. So she'll come tomorrow and she'll cook for me and Jai Jagannath and Savyasachi and Brajadevi. And anyway, the painstaking life of sannyas. I just have to say that. Now, before I get to these verses were a little tough. I was going through them. I'm quick. I do things quickly. This was taking something study, but before we do that, I'll just tell you, I was reading the Bhagavatam in the morning when I wake up. It's a good habit. Sets the day. So I was reading the 10th canto, the first chapter, where Vasudeva, Krishna's father, is trying to convince Kamsa not to kill his wife and Kamsa's, not Kamsa's wife, his wife and Kamsa's sister. So it's very expert. He's Vasudeva. His name is Anukudundabi. Because when he was born, Anukudundabi means trumpets and kettle drums. They knew that someone who would be born who had the quality of Ashabandha. Ashabandha means your hope cannot be restrained. So there's a spiritual sense of that. As a quality of bhava, when your hope cannot be restrained, it means because you believe Krishna is merciful, that although you're not qualified, you still have a chance. And Prabhupada translated that beautifully as hope against hope. It's one of the qualities of bhava. I can achieve. Not because I'm qualified, but because Krishna is qualified. And Krishna has mercy. And in that mercy, he can bridge the gap between our lack of qualification and the value of the goal we're trying to attain. But it's also a very determined person. It's a very special person, Krishna's father, Vasudeva. And he's very diplomatic. Prabhupada in the purport said, you have to learn diplomacy in this world. You can't always just be straightforward. It doesn't work. You have to learn diplomacy with people and enemies. So he was using there's 4 types of political dealings called sama. You pacify someone with flattery, nice words, whatever. Sama. Beta, you make them fearful. Dana, you bribe them. Danda, you beat them. War. Diplomacy fails, then there's war. So you see, each verse he's trying a different tactic. But he also is preaching philosophy. And Prabhupada's purports were so deep because they just indicated that your consciousness creates your next body. And really the message I got, which is such challenging, is that we have to become manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajima. We have to always think of Krishna. We have to come to that kind of consciousness. We can't just be, we do our sadhana, we think of Krishna. It should become our bhava. What is that verse? Yam tam tameve dikote tat-tad bhava bhavita. I don't like it when I don't remember verses that I know. Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tajantyante kalevaram. Yam yam vapi smaram tam tad bhava. Okay, I have to look it up. I'm so frustrated. Excuse me. I can't stand this. What? One second. Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tajatyante kalevaram tam tame vaiti konteya tat-tad bhava bhavataha. So whatever state of being you're remembering, so it's not just an intellectual thought, it's like your mood. Intellectual thoughts will go. If you hate someone, it doesn't matter if you're sick, you'll hate them, whether you're, it's part of your consciousness. If you're madly in love with someone, you can think of them in any consciousness. But just to think of something when the body I'm forgetting verses. I don't know. What is this? These are verses I've chanted 1,000 times, and no, I don't know. I'm thinking, am I losing my mind here? Krishna-katha pada pankaja pankarajam adyeva me vishatume manasaraja hamsa. Let the swan of my mind, let me die now when the swan of my mind is entangled with your lotus feet. Otherwise, at the time of death, how will I remember you? So you're going to be disturbed. You just can't, I'll think of Krishna. It'll be more what your bhava is, what your mood is. So I just said, oh my God, really, huh? You got to take another birth. With all what we went through, maybe we go through it again in a little bit different way. Unless we really fix our minds on Krishna. And I think kind of Prabhupada expected that. He expected that we just, that we don't have to be like, deep meditators, but that we follow his process and follow his surrender, and then your mind is somehow always fixed on Krishna. Anyway, that was my inspiration. Now let's get to this verse, and I say it was a little bit challenging, but what happens here is, just to go back a little bit, we know that the initial story is Janamejaya, the grandson of Maharaj Parikshit, hearing from his guru, Jaimini Rishi. And I'll do this really quick. After hearing this more Mahabharata, which focused more on Krishna, he was so enlivened, Janamejaya, he never heard it before. He wanted a summary of it, which is called a Kila. A book can have like a summary. I know Vishwanath Chakravarti did that with Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu. It's a Kila, it's on the book, it's a little summary. So he did it in the form of and because this Mahabharata was like the Bhagavatam, he did it in relating this story that many people haven't heard, that after Maharaj Parikshit heard the Bhagavatam, his mother came and he summarized it, the essence of it, but in the form of a story. So we went through that in the first canto, and now it culminated in the glorification of the gopis. Now Janamejaya says, wait, come on, I want to hear more. And Jaimini Rishi was a little, almost reluctant. He didn't want to speak intimate, confidential things can be misunderstood. So we don't reveal confidential things only to people who we can trust. So it's also that in terms of guru and disciple and what they can explain, but he said, because you're confidential, I can explain these things and they're not easy to understand. And then he begins to tell the story that after Uttara heard the glories of the gopis, now she was kind of interested in what was that place and where they enjoyed. She wanted to know about the place. And she began her inquiry from Maharaj Parikshit by first describing the higher destinations in this world, which you can get to by fruitive activity, following a particular plan of purifying yourself by sacrifice, giving the fruits of your activities. You can elevate yourself to heaven, Swargaloka, and there's 4 divisions. Or by renunciation, you can go beyond that, and then some of them, attain liberation. And it mentioned that higher than that is Vaikuntha, and then the previous verses were about Vaikuntha, and she was kind of asking about Vaikuntha. And her understanding was, and it was a little confusing for her, that gradations of purity in bhakti, and it mentioned all Jnana Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti, Prema Bhakti, Prema Para Bhakti, Prema Tura Bhakti, indicating what was there in the previous chapter of when Narada Muni kept on going to higher, and the Yadav is higher, and the Pandav is higher, and she started to dwell on this point that there must be higher places or higher happiness, and therefore higher destinations for people of more and more intimate relationships. And then there was this whole interesting discussion that I was trying to figure out, because it was saying there's hierarchies, there's no hierarchies. So from psychology and how people live there and how people individually feel, there's no hierarchy. It's not like this is, there's parents and they're over the child, may have more devotion, whatever it is. So there's no hierarchies in people's psychology and how they deal with each other. So in that sense, they were saying there's no hierarchies. Hierarchies, I don't know how to pronounce the word. Hierarchy, I don't know. There's none. But on the other hand, if you analyze them, which he's doing right now, like objectively, even in Vaikuntha, there's places like Ayodhya. And so now what she really wants to know, and there was this discussion, and then these purports were very long with so many references, and it's not my style to read through them. Some people do that when they give their classes, but it's hard for people to concentrate, so I have to make sure everybody's like super dedicated like that. But so he says they all have obtained the ultimate limit of happiness, each in his own kind of ecstatic reciprocation with the Lord. So again, the classic example is an incredibly loving mother and, a deep romance. So the deep romance is a little bit, more intimate and more free, and intense. But I gave the example many times, but the mother is perfect in her love and can't even conceive that there's a gradation, that this love is higher. Even in the material world, there can't be a conception. But she said, but then she asked, but what place is destined for the exceptional devotees of the performer of the rasa dance? So she's heard about this gradation of devotees in the previous book, or the previous talk, and she's not looking at the book, records it, and she heard about them. And Krishna himself, the Satyabhama, just kept on explaining that, there's nothing like these gopis. So now she wants to know, what is the place that's destined for such devotees? So she wants to know that. And that's going to be the second journey of the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, with this Gopa Kumar, who's just a cowherd boy in Vrindavan and meets a guru just on the bank of the Jamuna. He gets initiated into the Gopal mantra, then his guru disappears. But the injection of the Divya Gyan, Bhagavat Sarup Gyan, Sambandha Vishesh Gyan, the feeling of a particular relationship and a particular form of God. So he wasn't educated, so he didn't have the intellectual conception of it, but he definitely had the feeling for it. And therefore, Gop Kumar universe and never be satisfied in any place that doesn't correspond with the kind of love that he's having. Like, the friends, kids get together, they're not going to be, too happy staying in their father's office. And romantic lovers, there's only a limit to how long they want to stay in the living room with the family pictures and all this. So, it demands a place by that feeling, by what you want to reciprocate. So Gop Kumar didn't know the place, and Uttara didn't know the place, but she wants to know. So in the purpose, in Skanda Purana describes there's different regions in Vaikuntha and in Dwarka, and different devotees and higher devotees. So objectively, we can see there's a natural hierarchy or whatever it is. We can see that there's a gradation, but not psychologically, not emotionally, not how people feel. And therefore, they don't organize a hierarchy in the spiritual world according to devotion. It's just for the sadhakas to read and study and get inspiration for their particular destination, which is cognizant with who they are and also simultaneously with what Lord Chaitanya is giving. Anarpita Churim Churat, for a long time, hasn't been giving. So anyway, some devotees somehow have a more intense love. And then the final issue, those who practice the highest mode, the most intense mode of devotional service, achieve the last extreme of perfection. And this is used right in the beginning of the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, where it says, Tasya parāma antim. Parāṁ is the supreme, but there's an end of the supreme. So those who practice that, the love of the gopis, that must be something higher. And relative to this, all positions are inferior. Although no one feels that way. Anyway, so this is Uttara's question, in which she really wants to know, what is the devotion, the destination that awaits the Lord's most exceptional devotees? Those overflowing with spontaneous love for the lotus feet of Sri Nanda Kishore. Text 21. Ye sarva narapekshena radha dasyechava parāṁ sankirtayanti tatnama tadrisha priyatamaya. They chant his names, Uttara knows this, and are all full of unique love for him. Indifferent to everything else, they only want to be the servants of Sri Radha. So they're full with this love, with this unique. They're full with this unique type of love. Purport: the devotees of Sri Radha, who is the dear most beloved of Lord Madan Gopal, are not impersonalists void of desires. They are fully confident that if Sri Radha accepts them as her servants, everything they desire will be achieved and more. The privilege of serving Sri Radha is the rarest goal of life, and it is fitting that this privilege be attained only by executing the most excellent of sadhanas. That is to say, one can please her divine grace only by perfectly and purely chanting the names of Sri Rasa, Rasika, the hero of the rasa dance. In sweet voices, the servants of Sri Radha always melodiously and loudly chant Krishna's name. Such devotees are worthy to be engaged in such devotional service because their hearts are filled with the supreme variety of spontaneous, ecstatic love. So this is Uttara. She she knows enough to ask to find out really what it is. And that's what's happening now. Anyesham iva tesham cha prapyam chedrin natripyati aho nanda yashoda der nasahe tadrishim gatim. If those special devotees attain only the same perfection as others, my heart will be left discontent. For such devotees as Nanda and Yasoda to reach only the same destination, the very thought is intolerable. So they know there's some connection between the devotion you have and the place that you're in. So she's saying if these people who have them, because she heard from, she heard this story of Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, and she heard and she understood that these are the most exceptional devotees, and she wants to know the place. The place must be exceptional. She knows the science of sacred space, that the place corresponds with the intimacy of love that the people there want to share. So if this intimacy of love is far superior to anything else that one could want to attain, then there must be some place. Purport: someone might propose that Mathura Puri, like Ayodhya and Dwarka, may be located in Vaikuntha. The devotees of Radha and Krishna may thus have their Vaikuntha Gokul, where they can enjoy pastimes with the Lord and feel happiness greater than that of the Yadavas, just as the Yadavas enjoy happiness greater than that of the Pandavas. Uttara, however, is not satisfied with this proposal. She cannot tolerate having the devotees of Gokul categorized with other ordinary Vaishnavas. So it went through the whole thing, that emotionally, how they feel and how they perceive, there's no sense of this hierarchy. But one who's aspiring for it or trying to understand it, and is not involved in that, but looking at it, there is a distinction. And she wants to know about that. Vividhanam mahimnam hi yatra kāṣṭhāṁ parā kotinam paryavasyanti samudre sarato yata. Varied and countless excellences flow into these devotees, like the rivers of an ocean. These are so special. She heard it. She heard the story. She understood. Krishna told Satyabhama how exalted these devotees are. Purport: all varieties of perfection are fully manifest in the devotees of Gokul. Those devotees are perfectly beautiful, charming, and graceful, and they are endowed with the valuable assets of religious duty, economic development, sense gratification, renunciation, knowledge, realization, devotion, and pure love of God. All these perfections are present within them to the utmost degree possible for finite living beings. When Sri Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta depicts the glories of devotees lesser than the residents of Gokul, its purpose is to highlight the greater glories of the Gokula Vasis and demonstrate that all varieties of excellence flow ultimately into the residents of Gokul, just as waters of all rivers flow into the ocean. So somehow or other, Krishna is very personal, and he enjoys a variety of things. And when you enjoy a variety of things, there's different flavors and different gradations. But here is a speciality that's being described. Tararta muchitam sthanam ekam vaikunthata parāṁ apekshitam avasyam syat tat prakasyo darasya mam. Therefore, a suitable place must surely exist for them beyond Vaikuntha. Please reveal it to me and rescue me. So she wants to, this is all setting it up for this journey of Gop Kumar, because that's how it's going to be answered as he goes to different planets. But again, can't stay because his guru left, but he had that divya gyan. So he had a feeling for it, even though he didn't have an intellectual understanding. In this verse, Mother Uttara sums up her inquiry. She reasons that there must be some place even greater than Vaikuntha, a place suitable for the enjoyment of devotees like Nanda and Yasoda. That place should have certain qualifications. It should be devoid of thought that the Lord is the supreme all-powerful controller. In other words, it should be free from awe and reverence. It should be untainted by flaws that impede the flow of ecstatic love, the growth of ecstatic love. It should be invisible to those who are addicted to dry knowledge, and it should be approachable only for those dearmost servants of the Lord who delight in being caught under the sway of parāṁ, untasted in this world or any other. That place should be the quintessence of attractiveness, a place fully enriched with the unique, indescribable bliss of transcendental rasa. It should be sweeter than the sweetest, superior to the superior, describable only by great saints who forever relish the taste of Sri Krishna's lotus feet. Saints like Narad, for surely he must sing the glories of that place with his vina. Such a unique place must certainly exist, Uttara thinks. But because it is most confidential and I am not very intelligent, I am unable to ascertain its identity. Therefore, lost in an ocean of sadness and waves of doubt and deep currents of confusion, she asked her son, Bṛhad, to reveal that place to her by describing it in words. By doing this, we'll lift her out of the ocean of sorrow. Of course, the blessed district of Mathura, the best of all places, is already manifest on the earth and can most certainly provide Sri Nanda and the other exceptional happiness of taking part in the Lord's wonderful pastimes. Anyway, it's a description of Mathura. Okay, that's a lot to chew off for today. Okay, would anybody, Jamunajai, you start off, please? Something?
Hare Krishna Raj, thank you so much for class. This is getting very exciting about what the journey is to be. I really like so much, I mean, I've heard you speak about Ashtavandha before, but I really love that, that there's, let me read what I wrote here, that your hope cannot be restrained. I love that so much. And that there's the hope without hope, and there's the complete faith in that you can't deserve it, but Krishna will come in to get you. And so I just really love that part so much.
Yeah, it's mercy. It's like I say, the holy name is Krishna, so you can't create it, you can only attract it. So it's it's and that juxtaposition that we can't earn or qualify for God, so we have no hope in attaining him by our own power, but because because part of his glorification is his mercy, we still can attain it. So that's really the process. It's tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tvam yena mambu. For one who worship me, faith and love, I give them the knowledge by which they can come to me. So it really has to descend. I see that here in Govardhan. You know, if I'm to get any taste for the holy name, it has to come from Krishna. But he responds to the sincerity of one's heart. If you want him, you get him, but you have to really want him. Okay, anybody else with that? Thank you.
I was just saying, I just spoke with someone that was at the retreat, and they were talking about the being alone with Krishna in meditation, and they're so moved by it. It's Murli Gopal. I don't know if you remember him from the Bhakti Center. He was just speaking about it this morning. So about being Govardhan in that retreat.
Yeah, 2 hours. Yeah. Anybody? Thank you, Juanajaya. Anybody else? Gail, you have a question?
If you can manage two. One was
Well, first I have to see if I can handle one, then I can see if I can handle the other. Yeah, good.
yeah, parāṁ antim. Can you elaborate on that?
At the very beginning of the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, the story is Sanatana Goswami telling about Jaimini Rishi, telling about Maharaj Parikshit, telling about Narada Muni and Gopkumar. So it starts with Sanatana Goswami wanting Lord Chaitanya, wanting Sanatana Goswami to give what he gave to the world, and the words that were given is tasya parama antim, of the supreme end, of something that's perfect, the end of it. I forgot when we did the Puri Yatra, this Hari Parshad gave the Sanskrit for it, but param antim is the end, and the supreme end.
Is that Gopi Bhav?
The supreme end is Braja Bhakti.
Okay.
He wants him to explain Braja Bhakti, specifically the love of the gopis, swabhakti swayam, his own bhakti, Krishna's own devotion to himself in the form of Chaitanya. He wants to give that to the world. And one way he wants to give that to the world is through the 6 Goswamis to actually write books about it. So he had to do that. And now, and that's what it's about. It's about the people who live there and the place in which they enjoy.
Okay. Thank you, Maharaj. The other thing was, this I guess lamentation, sorrow that Uttara is experiencing because she hasn't heard yet about this place that must exist for the Brajbasis, basically.
Yeah.
So, but she herself, isn't her mood one more of Aishwarya Bhav?
Let's see, Uttara. Well, once you're outside of Vrindavan, there's some tinge of divinity that invokes, not so much spontaneity. Yeah, so she has something. I'm not sure maybe she has motherly affection. I don't know.
So, yeah, because, I'm not conceiving her of, let's say, that, Parama Antim type quality. I'm just so kind of surprised that she is.
But Bhishma Dev was glorifying the gopis. It doesn't mean you have to have that relationship with them.
Yeah, but to have that empathy for people that you are not, that you don't share that mood with, seems, just a little bit strange to me.
Okay. What can I do? That's the way it is. Sometimes devotees can appreciate a higher rasa because they can see the same, because they all share dasya. It's all dasyaras. It's all service. That's the primary mood, and has different flavors. Okay, Gail.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Jai Shri Radhe, Haribo.
I also have a question, Guru Maharaj, but it's probably not for this class because maybe it will take a long time to answer it. In the beginning, you started to explain how Vasudev was talking to Kamsa, and you explained that it's 4 types of interactions when you dealing with the...
Yeah. He couldn't use danda because Kamsa was more powerful, so he couldn't physically punish him. And I'm not sure he could bribe him because he was the son of the king. So mostly he was doing sama, flattering, and beta, making him fear. I mean, he said to him, how can you kill a woman who is your sister on the day of your marriage? And then explaining this transformation of the soul, that you're creating your next destination by this activity. So you're trying to prevent death, but death is certain. What's not certain is the destination you go. So you should work more on that. Okay, Jai Shri Radhe, thank you.
Thank you, Gurudev.
Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Hello, Govinda.
And Braja, thank you for class.
Class.
Great. Thank you always for coming on the classes. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for teaching.
Okay, Haribo.
Haribo.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, this is Krishna-katha. Thank you so much. And especially for hope against hope. Thank you greatly for the message.
That's Ashabanda. Okay, anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you for class.
I'm going to ship you up to the Himalayas with that charter. Look at what a sadhu he looks like, right? Isn't it? He looks like a sadhu. I mean, you got everything. You got the earrings, and the Shringa tattoo, the huge Tulsi japa. You belong like sitting in some ashram in Barsana.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay.
Hopefully. Krishna willing.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Anybody else say hello?
Good morning,
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna. Oh, sorry.
Haribo, who's this?
This is Benny.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Kripa Maya from New Vrindavan. I wanted to tell you hello. Kripa Maya Das.
Oh, Kripa Maya. Okay, yeah.
Wanted me to tell you hello. I just started the 11 core choices on YouTube. And I received your book on Tuesday.
Okay, it's hard. I think you don't got such good reception there, Denny.
Yeah, probably not. I'm sorry.
It's you always listen to the class outside, huh?
Yeah, when I'm at work, I listen to all your videos, and then I study when I'm at home. I get to study the books when I'm at home, but at work, I just listen to all your videos.
Okay. We have all kinds of people that they come to the class. Thank you. I have a few people there. Thanks, Danny. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank you for
Krishna
class.
Maharaj, this is Hemala.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for class.
Hey, Haribo.
It's so nice to see you, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Wonderful class. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. We'll just say hello. I have a little audience today.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. We have a great group coming to Puri. It's really a lot of nice, so many kirtaniers, so many nice devotees that you know, and others. We have these two ladies coming from South America. Someone's donated this fund to help people come to India. So I'm bringing two people that normally wouldn't come. They're really great too. Very serious devotees. Not initiated, but very serious. You'll meet them. You like them. Okay.
South America, where, Maharaj?
What's that? What's that?
You said that they're from South America?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
country?
One's from Venezuela and one's from Colombia. Yeah. Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay. We'll see you there. It'd be good.
Hare
You spend time.
Krishna,
Yes, Maharaj.
Maharaj. Sorry to butt in. We're about to take a yoga class, and we just wanted to say hello. Yvette and
Hey,
Dan.
Dan and Yvette, say hello to my audience.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I have a small audience here.
Sweet audience.
Yeah, no, it's great at this time of the year. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
We'll see you soon. Hare Krishna.
What yoga studio you're at?
Hot Yoga Philadelphia. Dan teaches here. I'm taking
Oh,
Dan's
okay.
class. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, thanks, Yvette. Anybody else?
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Gumaraj. Tota Gopinath here. So great to hear from you.
Okay, Haribo. Okay. I'm going to go now.
Thank you, Maharaj, for allowing me to attend class today.
Haribo, who's this?
This is John in Texas.
Okay, nice. Thanks for coming on class. Appreciate it a lot.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, great.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev. Hare Krishna. This is Tamala.
Haribo. Okay, Haribo. Okay, nice to see you. Okay, anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Surya Radhika here.
Good. Send me a note so I contact Jayanta, the lawyer, okay?
Okay.
Otherwise
Thank
I'll
you.
forget. Anybody else? Okay, I'll just look at all the names on the list. We had a nice crew today, more than usual. Okay, thank you all.